What's going on, guys? Bruce Madsen here, your host show of Metro Scout Fantasy Football, and today we're going over late round running back prospects that you can snag on your drafts this weekend. Some redraft plays that might be able to help you out in the back end of that draft, and we're going to go over it right now. This isn't in order of a ranking, but they're kind of in order of ADP, and these are guys that I've personally been looking at all draft season long, and I'm just going to share why I like them. And there's other guys too, but I figured I'd give you 5 real quick. The first running back that I like in the back end of drafts, I started at ADP 100 and went on back. The first one I'm going with is old Melvin Gordon. Has an ADP of 104 and is usually the RB 37 off the board. When I'm getting this ADP, I'm going off of multi-site ADP from 4for4. Pretty much averages the ADP from all the sites. So your casual sites, you'll get the ADP from there, and then you also get it from the high stakes leagues like the FFPC, and it gels them together. So if your leagues are a little different, you just want to adjust for that. But with it averaged together, he's around 104 off the board, RB 37. Last year, even sharing the backfield with Javonte Williams, had 4 RB1 weeks and 2 RB2 weeks, so he had some production, and it looks like he's going to be sharing the backfield to some capacity with him again this year. Who knows how much, but he's still a damn good running back who can be productive. And if something happens to Williams, the upside's through the roof. You can get him late in drafts, and he's one of those first late round running backs that I'm going after. Had a 27% opportunity share last year. That's the carries and the targets together, and that's a very good number for a guy who's sharing the backfield. Again, if something happens to Williams, you got yourself an RB1 here. He's on a good offense. Russell Wilson leading the charge. They're going to be able to move the ball. I think both these running backs are guys you're going to want in fantasy, and he's more than just a handcuff to Williams because he's also a standalone option. If I'm going 0RB, he is also one of the first running backs I'm looking at this year. He's also pretty safe considering he's sharing the backfield and he's a late round running back prospect. Going on to the second running back we're talking about today, and we're going to be talking about Darrell Henderson. And what I like about him is ADP 118, RB 42 off the board, so he's dirt cheap, double-digit rounds. Had 3 RB1 weeks last year, 4 RB2 weeks last season, sharing the backfield with Cam Akers. We all love Cam Akers, explosive, but still, that Achilles injury is still lurking from the distance. He's still going to get some usage in the backfield. Last year, had a 26% opportunity share. There should be some instances where he has some spike weeks for you. Is he a top-tier back? No. That's why we're drafting him in the late rounds. But the fact that he's getting opportunity, the fact that he's shown us he has some upside. He has 3 RB1 weeks last season, 4 RB2 games, maybe a little bit less if Cam Akers is used a little bit more, but he has that potential. And if something happens to Akers, if he has a relapse of that injury, Henderson is a guy you want to go with. At 3 here on our list, we're going to go with the diaper dandy, Isaiah Pacheco. And there's a lot to say about this guy. He has been talked up all off season long, all training camp long, but ADP of 140, that's mixed in with these sites, but some sites he's a lot higher in ADP, and some sites he's a little lower. Really depends on who you're drafting with. RB 48 right now, so dirt cheap. Ran at 4.3740 at 216 pounds. Size adjusted speed 4 days. We saw that in training camp. We saw this during the preseason, and there's opportunity here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not been living up to expectations ever since he's been drafted. He might have had a few good weeks throughout his career, but it hasn't been happening. Can he step it up? Maybe. But Isaiah Pacheco's there in the wings, and we all know Mahomes makes the money printer go burr for the running backs and receivers, and that could happen with Pacheco. That size adjusted speed could kick in. He could be kicking in with the touches, and when you're getting him at RB 48, depending on your league, it could be like RB40 or RB50, 55, depending on where you're drafting at and who you're drafting with. That's a damn good discount, because what if he starts getting a lot of touches week 3? What if it's week 5 or something? You got that on your roster on the back end, and you can start using him as your flex, your RB2. And if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't seem like it's working out, the sunk cost is damn near zero at 140 ADP. He's dirt free. You might be paying a little bit more than that in some leagues, but it's still free, and that's a guy you can cut bait with if you have to. That's a good speculative asset to get, because you could be going to the moon, or you could have nothing here and you can just cut bait and move on. At number 4, we got Tyler Algier. And you know what? We're going to be talking about these rookie running backs till we're blue in the face here in the back half of the draft, because things can flip with them on a dime. He was very productive at BYU last season. Looked like he was going to get higher draft capital than what we were expecting this year, but he fell in the draft, but he fell to a good situation. There's not much competition there. I get it. Damian Williams and C-Pat are ahead of him on the depth chart, both of them, and that could start things out. But it's a long season, especially for running backs. Attrition happens. He could work his way up the depth chart, or the depth chart could work his way down to him, and he could be a potential back for you. We're looking at a guy with an ADP of 150, RB49. So just a guy you're taking stabs at to see what happens. You hold him on your roster for a few weeks. Maybe you get some touches in week 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. Start showing some promise, and then you can start using him as your flex or your RB2. Just another upside play that you want to look at in your draft. And these rookie running backs who have a pathway to touches early in their career, or what looks like it could happen this season, you want to take stabs at, because they could really turn on a dime on you and really start giving you that production. Speaking of rookies, I got another one here at 5. Rashad White. And this guy catches passes out of the backfield. Probably the top receiving back out of this draft. ADP 155. RB 51. Tom Brady's there. Effective offense. Leonard Fournette's not getting younger. He's an older running back who had weight issues this offseason. He doesn't have much competition for touches, so there's a chance he could wear down. What's Fat Lenny going to do when that happens? Brady could make this offense go burst still, even though he's looking like a skeleton in the press conferences. There's a chance Rashad White could eat when given the opportunity. He catches the ball out of the backfield very well, so that could give him some promise in PPR leagues, and also has some juice in them legs to get you them yards, especially after contact and when he's in the open field. I got an extra one for you. I'm going to give you an extra one. And if you want an extra one on every single video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm the guy to give it to you. If this is helping you out, this is something you're interested in, then I got more coming, especially during the season. But here we go. At 6, I got another rookie, Zamir White. And of course, I'm pounding rookies at the end of the draft. I'm also pounding other running backs, but these are my prime suspects right now, because I really want to hit on gold here. And why I like Zamir White: 1, he's super cheap, but it really depends on where you're drafting at, because a lot of people are pumping him up, and then there's other sites that are ignoring him. 188 ADP, RB 57. That could be a little higher, that can be a little lower, depending on where you're drafting at. ADP is usually probably around the 150s, lower 140 range, maybe a shade higher depending you're at. I had to put that note in there. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is the big question mark. 1, he's had an injury-plagued history throughout his career, going all the way back to Alabama. So that's something you need to take note of. Amir Abdullah is there to take touches, but Zamir White's the guy that they're going to pound between the tackles. He can also do some work in the passing game as well. He can hold down the fort. And 2, he's got juice in his legs, and he could be a guy that can just pop off and become an RB1. Also, they were doing strange things with Josh Jacobs' touches throughout the preseason. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not even really going to speculate. But considering we're getting him at an RB 50 to 57-ish price tag on Zamir White, depending on your league and where you're drafting at and who you're drafting with, it's hard to ignore that price tag as one of the last running backs on your fantasy team. And with all these picks, we're shooting for upside. That's why we're shooting on these rookies. That's why we're shooting on these players who's got a little pop in their step, who could get opportunity. We're shooting for upside. Zamir White could give you some upside, or it could be a guy that hangs out on the waiver wire. We'll know in a few weeks. And if you have to cut him, you can cut bait and get somebody else off the waiver wire because you haven't paid anything for him. Same thing with the rest of the guys on this list. But we're shooting for upside because if they do hit at the upside, you guys got a good running back that you can put in your lineup that can get you them points. And the rookies, if they get touches early, they got a chance to do that for you. They haven't shown that they couldn't yet. They haven't shown us that they couldn't provide those points yet when given a full down opportunity, and they have some things in their profile as a prospect coming out of college that indicates that they can do that when they get the opportunity. That's why these rookies here in the back half of these drafts are very important that you take a few stabs at to see if you can unlock some potentials for your fantasy team. But those are just some running backs I'm looking at. Of course, I'm looking at all of them. So you may have some other ones that you're going after. You know what? I'm going after them too. But let me know in the comments which running backs you're going after in the double-digit rounds, or when you get past 100 in ADP in the picks of your draft. Who are you shooting for when you're looking for those cheaper running backs? Let me know. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Let me know if you like the video, and it also helps the video in the algorithm. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Really fuels the channel. And then also, you'll be informed of all the fantasy football videos coming out, along with the film studies and everything else I bring out, because this is a very active channel. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next vid.